Hi everyone, I'm Debbie Bells with Feel Good Qigong, and I'm going to do a yoga segment to help cool and calm us down. We're having very excessive heat right now in most of the country, so this class will be about maybe relaxing a little bit more, using the heat to help stretch a little bit deeper than maybe you normally do. Okay, so we'll get started. I'm going to be lying on a mat. It's nice to have something like a couple of pillows, maybe one for your knees for later on, even in savasana, a little something behind your head, feels comfortable. Sometimes a little towel even feels good. But do what is comfortable for you. Also have a yoga strap nearby. If you don't have a yoga strap, then you can use a towel. You can also use a tie, an old tie that you might have, or a bungee cord, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to come lying down flat on the floor. And have your knees bent, have the soles of the feet on the floor. And just for now, you're just going to bring your knees together. Your knees are together. You're going to give yourself a hug. And then release both of the arms to your side. Still keep those knees together. And just gently start to rock your head from side to side. Let the day go. This is more of an evening class. I mean, actually, you can use it any time, but it's a really nice time, if you have time during the day to take a break, if, your back is starting to hurt, you just want to get a little bit of movement without a lot of exertion, this would be a good time to do this. Now, as you're lying here, now release the knees away from each other, and we're just going to do a pelvic tilt back and forth. So you're moving your pelvis back and forth. And you'll know you're doing it by, as you tuck your tailbone under, take one of your hands and notice that there's a little bit of an arch in your low back. And then when you release the tailbone the other direction, it flattens the low back. So you're just going back and forth. Actually, I'm sorry, when you're tucking your tailbone under, it flattens the low back. And then when you reverse the movement, there's that little bit of an arch in the low back. So when I do this, it just feels like a very soft release of my low back. And sometimes I even hear cracking, like a little bit of cracking in my spine. And that's perfectly fine if that happens. Popping's not a good sign, but just a little bit of cracking is perfectly fine. So your spine you're giving your spine a little bit of a chance to align itself. Now, as you're doing this, you're also going to notice that this movement goes all the way up into the neck. So when I'm tucking my tailbone under, flattening the low back, my chin goes up. And then when I arch the low back, my chin goes down. So just notice that movement as it reverses all the way up to your neck, getting some movement also in the cervical vertebrae. So we're just gently moving back and forth. Connect with your breath. Noticing how this feels in your body. You might have your arms out to the side and the palms are faced up. This will also help release a little bit tension out of your shoulders. And then connect with your breath. As you inhale, take a deep breath in. Exhaling, reverse the movement. Consciously noticing your breathing. Let it slow down a bit. Let it deepen a bit. And then come back to neutral spine. And then we're going to bring our hands onto our belly. Again, you can release your knees in towards each other if you like. But bring your hands onto the belly and then one onto the chest. And then as you take a deep breath in and make it a little bit deeper than you normally do, feel this breath enter your body all the way into the diaphragm, which is that breathing muscle at the very end of your rib cage. And you would blow it out like you bring it in, and it's like a balloon expanding. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel that diaphragm contract. And then as you inhaling slowly and deeply, feeling that belly blowing up like a balloon. And then exhaling, releasing the air out of the balloon. And then this time, as you inhale, feeling the breath deep into the diaphragm, you'll start to feel some of it coming up to the chest. And then as you exhale, it releases, and then you release the exhalation out through the mouth as it comes all the way through the lungs. So as you inhale, you're bringing all that air into your diaphragm and to the chest cavity. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm pushes up and it pushes all your air out of your mouth, out of the lungs. So try to make this breath slow and smooth and deeper. And feel the movement of the breath as it enters your body, noticing where you're feeling it in your body. You'll also feel this maybe in the low back, and you also might notice that pelvic tipping that we've been doing. As you inhale, you might feel that a little bit of an arch in the low back, and as you exhale, the tailbone tucks in, flattens the low back, and the oxygen and the carbon dioxide releases out through the lungs. So connecting all those points, the inhale is expanding your body with this breath. It moves your pelvic floor. And the body begins to relax by doing this. Now you can also bring both hands to the side of your ribs. And now as you take a breath in, feel the expansion of your ribs. So now you're breathing not only in the front of your body, but you're also moving the side of your body, the rib cage, those muscles that connect to the rib cage, your intercostal muscles. This becomes a deeper breath when you bring the breath into the side of the body as well. So these little isometric movements make a big difference on how you breathe. And it's easy to really feel this when you're lying flat on the floor. And then release and come to a neutral spine. And then you're going to release your knees and just press them into your chest a few times. As you inhale, move the knees away from your body. And as you exhale, compress the knees into your chest, into your stomach especially. So again, as you inhale deeply into that diaphragm, then when you exhale, you're using this movement to help expel air. So you're inhaling, moving the knees away, and exhaling, compressing the knees in towards your belly and chest. Inhale, moving the knees away, and exhaling, releasing. Then we're going to take the knees and make a circle with them. And you're going to feel this again on your low back. You're going to do a big circle on the sacrum area of your spine. This helps to massage that low back, and it helps to get some movement in the spine as well. Now, holding onto the knees, just let them rest out to the side. You're holding your knees with your hands, and just let everything relax here. Let your feet relax, let the knees relax, inner thighs relax, and the hip joints. And then bring the knees back together. We're going to lengthen our legs up towards the ceiling, draining out the legs. This helps to relax your nervous system for this inversion. Inversions are very quieting to the nervous system. So a couple things we can do here. We can shake the legs, and you can also shake the arms. This is called dead bug. And if you're feeling a lot of stress in your body, you can use some sound like a dead bug. It would sound like this, or a crying baby. Or you can just shake. So this is good for circulation. You're draining out the limbs a little bit, and then come to a stillness. And then you can hold the legs with your hands if you like, or you can tuck your hands underneath your low back for a little bit of support. And then let's just move the ankles around and the feet. Separate your toes. You want to try to see between your toes, and you can flex and point the feet as you're here, or just simply relax here. Let all that blood drain out of the legs into your digestive system, into your internal organs, female organs, male hormones, organs as well, bringing some of that rich blood into that area of our body. And then we'll release. And this time we're going to straighten the legs and release the hands from underneath you, and then release the arms above you. Give yourself a really nice long stretch. But when you're doing this, tuck your belly in towards the back of your spine. This will engage the abdominal muscles, and this will help to lengthen a little bit deeper. And then like you're trying to grab a hold of, say, an apple from a tree. You're just going to stretch one side, and then you stretch the other side. So as I'm lengthening my right arm, I'm lengthening my right leg. And lengthening my left arm, I'm lengthening my left leg. And then we'll release. We're going to take the right knee into the chest. You're going to interlace your fingers in front of your knee or your shin, and then press that knee in towards your shoulder. So it's coming out to the side just a little bit. And you're pressing that knee in towards your shoulder. And then taking that knee, that right knee, your left hand and your right knee, just guide it over towards your left a little bit. So you start to feel a little bit of a stretch here in the outer hip joint. Also, you might feel this in your psoas muscle, that deep muscle that's near the groin area that attaches to your leg. So we're just kind of warming that up a little bit. And then bring it back to center, guide it over towards your right shoulder again, and press that knee in towards your shoulder. And then release the leg. We'll do the other side, bending your left knee, interlace your fingers in front of your knee or your shin, and then you start to guide this knee over towards your left shoulder, pressing it in also towards your left shoulder. And then release it. Take your right hand on your left knee and then guide this knee over towards your right. It's not a big movement here. You're just going to start to feel a stretch in the outer hip joint and in that psoas muscle. That's where you want to start feeling it. And then release. Now grab a hold of your strap. We're going to be using the strap here. Taking the strap in your right, the ball mount of your right foot, and hold both sides of the strap with your hands. Now your left leg is very charged here, which means you're flexing your foot towards your body. And we're going to do the same thing with the right foot as well. You're pressing down with your strap to help guide this foot, and the toes are they're pointing towards you. Now we're going to take the strap in your right hand, and you're just going to pull on the strap down. This is going to twist that foot a little bit, but you're going to feel this stretch very deeply, maybe into the calf or another part of the leg. And then you release that right hand. Now start to pull down with the left side of your strap, and it's going to twist your foot to the other direction. So this feels really nice. You can just go back and forth a little bit playing with this. This feels really nice on your arch usually. And if you tend to be pronated, which means all your weight's on the inside edge of your foot, by pulling the strap down with your outer hand, it will release some of those muscles that are dropping that arch. And then again, if you're opposite, if you're supinated, which means all your weight's on you carry all your weight on your outer edge of your foot, the same thing. When you press the inside edge of the foot, it starts to open some of those muscles that are tight from being overly extended on the outside of the foot. Now we're going to do little circles. We start with little circles with this leg. You'll feel this deep in, possibly in the upper part of the leg and in the hip. And then take it to the other direction as well. And you're finding your breath. Always connect with the breath, because the breath's just going to give you more space in your body to really enjoy these deep stretches. And then we're going to make this circle a little bit bigger. And now you're going into more of a rotation, a bigger, larger rotation of the hip. And then take it to the other direction as well. Really feeling that hip opening. And then bringing that leg straight up again. And we're going to hold the strap with both hands and gently press your leg, keeping the toes facing you. Toes are flexed facing you. And then point the foot, and then flex the foot several times. This really hurts my leg. I don't know why. So you're pointing the foot, and you're flexing using the guidance of the strap. So you point and then you flex. And it feels better if you have the strap on the ball mount of the foot, right underneath the toes. So you're pointing and you're flexing. And now guide this leg a little bit closer to your body so you start to feel a nice stretch in the back of the hamstring. Holding on to the strap with just your right hand. Both legs are very charged here. The leg is even with your hip. You're going to guide this leg all the way out to your right. And just take it to where it feels comfortable. Breathe into it. You're going to feel an opening on the inner edge of the leg. I feel this in my inner knee. It's a great opening also for the hip. Take some breaths here. If you want, you can also bring your head over to the left for a little bit of a twist in the neck. And then we'll guide this leg back up. Change hands with the strap. Both legs are still very charged. Keep that leg, if you can, even with your hip. And now we guide this leg over to your left. Now, make sure you're not rolling on that left hip, because as soon as you start to roll on that hip, you're going to lose the stretch here. This stretch, again, is a psoas muscle. It's an IT band stretch. It's an outer hip joint stretch. So it's a really nice stretch. Now, if you want, you can maybe just move the leg forward and back a little bit and work that hip joint a little bit more. Now, I was talking about the excessive heat. It's your body's more pliable in heat. The muscles are able to take a deeper stretch typically. This is a good time to start doing more lifting, like muscle toning this time of year. So we use the different seasons and we do different movements for different seasons because you wouldn't want to start a muscle strengthening routine in the winter when your muscles are really cold. So this is a great time to really get into that activity of muscle strengthening, because we need that muscle mass to help us get through the cold months. So that's why we do it now. But stretching in the heat is really nice because, like I said, the muscles are a little bit more pliable and you can stretch a little bit more than maybe you typically do. And then release that leg and just kind of tap, move it around a little bit and noticing how that feels. We're going to do the other side. So we're going to take the strap and the ball mount of the left foot. Remember, it's kind of right under the toes, and then holding that strap. And let's just start flexing and pointing the foot first, just to warm it up a little bit. And now we're going to work that little bit of movement in the foot. So I'm going to take my right hand on which is in the inside of my left foot, and I'm going to press down. This is going to twist my foot a little bit. And I really feel that in my ankle even. Take some breaths. Allow that foot to open. We're wearing a lot of sandals this time of year. Not the best thing for our feet, so this feels really nice. And then we switch. Now I'm pulling down on the left strap on the outside of my foot, twisting. There's a little bit of a twist. So your feet is maybe for the reflexology, the foot is kind of a map of your spine. So think about, you're not only moving the foot, but you're also moving your spinal cord, reflexology. Maybe that's why it feels so good to do this. And then flex and point the foot again. And then let's do a little circle. Start to warm up this leg. So this side of my foot feels tighter actually than my right, which is unusual because usually it's my right side, but for some reason I feel it on this side. And then I'm going to go in the other direction. Always go in one direction, always take it to the other direction so you get the full range of movement. And then if you want, start to make this a bigger circle with the leg and the hip. Take it to the other direction. And then back to center. Flex and point a few more times. And now take the strap in your left hand. Both straps are in your left hand. Try to align your leg with your hip. And then both legs are charged, and you're taking this left leg all the way out towards the left. opening up your inner thigh and your hip and your leg. Deep breaths in and out. We'll come back to center, change hands, and now guide this leg over to your right. So as you can see, I don't have my leg all the way over. I don't need to because I'm really feeling the stretch deeply here. And my right leg's completely flat on the floor. My hips are not turning over. I'm just bringing this left leg over to my right, feeling that in my outer hip joint and also in that psoas muscle and a little bit in my IT band. And then again, since it's a little warmer, you might be able to go typically a little bit deeper than you normally might. And then we'll bring it up again. One more nice tug on the leg, opening up that hamstring. And then we're going to release both legs, shake them out. Let's bring the soles of the feet together here. You can bring your arms over your head if you like, or out to the side. And just allow the floor to hold you so you can release your hips, your inner thighs, your chest. Maybe bring the head from side to side. And then we're going to come into a spinal twist. Really nice to do these on the floor, spinal twist. Bring the knees in together again. Press them into your chest. Release any tension from your low back. Try to have your knees even with your hips. And your arms can be out to the side in a T, palms faced up. And we're gently going to bring those knees over to our right. Now, if this is too much for you, you can put a pillow between your knees, or you can put a pillow underneath your knees, and then turn your head to face the left. And you'll feel this is a really nice stretch. But the best thing you can do in this is just allow your body to relax and release. Because you've got the floor can support you, and you're able to deeply go into the spinal twist. Turning your head to the left is really nice for the neck and the shoulders. Palms are faced up, so you feel a really nice stretch here. Now we're going to take our left arm. I'm going to go all the way over onto my right side. So both of my palms and my hands are touching. I'm going to do a circle. I'm looking at my left hand, and I'm starting to do a big circle with this left hand. As I look at it, because I'm looking at it, it's helping me also do a rotation of my neck. And I'm bringing this arm all the way around, opening up that shoulder, really getting a nice stretch in that shoulder and in the arm. And we'll do a couple more here, all the way around, and then release. Come back to center with the knees. Align them up with your hips. Arms are out to the side in a T. Drop the knees over to the left so you get a little different view here. My head is coming to the right. Again, if this hurts, you can have a pillow between your knees or under the knees for some support. Great spinal twist. Best thing you can do here is relax. Let all your weight just kind of melt into the floor, into the ground, into the earth, into Mother Earth as she holds you. So you can release any tightness anywhere. Even in your toes, you might feel release in your toes or even in your fingers. Now I'm going to take my right arm to meet up with my left hand. And I'm on my side now. And now I'm going to do a big circle with my right arm. And I'm looking at my arm. As I rotate the arm, I'm also rotating my head all at the same time. So again, a really nice stretch for your body all the way around. Feels really nice on the shoulders, on the neck, and on your spine. And then we'll come back to center. One more, knees into chest, circles if you need to, and then we're going to rock ourselves all the way back up to sitting. Now this is where we're going to take, if you're sitting and your knees are way up, that means you need to prop up your hips, your sit bones. So I'm going to use I have a little bolster here that I'm going to sit on. The pillow is good just to give a little support underneath my sit bones. And my knees can come down a little further. Now there's a couple ways you can sit. You can sit with your legs crossed like this, or not have them crossed, but they're still crossed, but not on top of each other. Some people can even get their feet up into their inner thighs. I can't do that. This is the furthest I can go. But you want to be comfortable, whatever you do. Now find those sit bones. They're those two bones at the very end of your spine. You can take your hands and put them underneath underneath your glutes, and lift the fat from your glutes off of those sit bones, and then you'll be able to find the sit bones a lot better. So we're sitting on these two sit bones. We're going to lift the shoulders up and back so the spine is nice and straight, and engage your abdominals so they're supporting, your lower back especially. Then we're going to do a rotation here. We're going to go all the way around in a circle. Try to make a complete rotation on your sit bones. Now, when I'm coming over to my left side, I'm taking my right hand and I'm just kind of like I'm pressing on my inner thigh here. This helps to open up your hip a little bit, kind of like kneading bread. That's what it feels like to me, because again, you're a little bit more pliable. Muscles are a little bit more pliable in the seat, and you can really, press down right in that crease of where your thigh is, and create a little bit more of an opening in that hip joint. And then when you come to the other direction, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my left hand and just press down, trying to create a little bit more space in my hip joints. And you can take both hands and do both sides. Now we're going to start to move forward in a forward fold. You're moving forward on the sit bones as your tailbone moves back. And you start to come forward in this forward fold. Take it to where it's comfortable for you. You can use blocks to support your head or a pillow to support your head. You can also make fists with your hands and rest your head. If you can't reach, that's fine. Just let the head hang. As you start to roll forward on the sit bones, pubic bone moves back, opening up, again, your hip joints. You might feel this in the knees. You might feel this in the shoulders and the head and the neck. And you can move around a little bit here. You can also walk our hands over to the left and press that left sit bone down, the right sit bone down. Come over to the other side as you press your left sit bone down. Back to center, and then we slowly curl up one vertebrae at a time. And then as you come back to sitting, you're going to take your hands behind you and you lift up into a little bit of a back bend here. Let your shoulder blades rest towards the back of the body, opening up the front of your chest and your neck. And then come back to neutral. Arms are at your fingertips or on the floor. We're going to do a neck rotation and hold it to one side as that other opposite side starts to release in the neck. So my head's over to the right, opening up the left side of my neck. I'm going to take my neck back. If I feel any compression there, I might hold it a little bit so that neck releases and loosens up. Now I'm on the other side, opening up the right side of my neck. And I'm just going to do a couple of rotations here, slowly recognizing where I might feel some compression in the neck. And then remember to take it to the other side. Now we're going to come into a side flexion. The left hand's right at your side here. You can be on your fingertips. And then we lift up the right arm as we start to lean over to our left. Now, your left elbow can bend, or you can reach your left arm all the way out to the side. The most important thing here is that you keep that right sit bone really rooted down so you get the full stretch, this full side stretch here. You can also move your torso around a little bit just to get an opening here in the ribs. Let the head just hang to the side. You can bring that right arm alongside your ear as long as that's comfortable. Again, adjust it for your comfortability. Now I'm feeling this stretch between my ribs and my waist. So it's a pretty deep stretch here for me. And then I'm going to come back, release back, other side, lifting your left arm up and start to lean over to your right side. You could slide that right hand along down or keep the elbow bent. Again, it's different for everybody of how to get a comfortable stretch here. The most important thing is that you keep that left sit bone down. Don't roll off of it because then you lose the stretch here. Let the head rest, opening up the right side of your body. And if you want, you can move your torso a little bit. And then we'll come back up to center. We're going to do a twist here. So I'm taking my left hand on my left knee, right arm, lift up and bring it behind you. Don't turn anything yet. Find your stability here. We're going to come into a twist. We're going to twist your spine to the right. I'm going to keep my hips centered, but my belly starts to twist. Then my solar plexus starts to twist, and then the ribs, and then the sternum, and then the shoulders, and my neck, and then my head. Now to go for a deeper twist, take your left hand and place it on your right knee, and this will twist you just a little bit deeper. Breathe up and down the spine. Feel the expansion of your breath like we did when we were lying down. And then we're going to unwind slowly, slowly, slowly as we come back to center. Other side, right hand's on right knee. Lift your left arm up, bring it behind you before you start. And make sure you're not leaning back with this, that you're using your arm as a way to really keep that spine nice and straight. We start our twist to the left, belly moves to the left, the solar plexus moves to the left, sternum moves to the left, shoulders and neck, and then your head. Taking your right hand and place it on your left knee, and then twist a little bit deeper. Breathe up and down your spinal cord. Feel the twisting, such a great massage for your organs. So breathe nice and deep into the diaphragm, into that vessel that holds all this oxygen. And then we slowly release as we come back to center. Release your legs because they probably need to be released. We're just going to do a little tapping up and down the legs, even on top of the thighs, around the knees, down to the feet. Wake them up. We're going to come into a forward fold here. So we'll start by bending the knees. Soles of the feet are on the floor. You're going to take your elbows and bring your knees in the elbows. You can clasp onto your wrist and straighten the spine as much as you can. Drop your neck. Again, another rotation of the neck here, because as you press your knees into your elbows into the knees, creates a nice space in the back of the shoulders to release your neck muscles. So just move that around. You can also do a twist here for the neck. And then you can have your strap nearby once again. Looks like I lost here's my strap. In case we use it, in case you want to use it. But to start with a full forward fold, I have my hands right underneath my knees. And I'm going to bring my torso and let it rest on my thighs. Head drops. And I start to release my legs, holding them with my arms underneath my knees. And I might stop right here to start feeling this full back body stretch. Again, it's different for everyone. You can also rest your hands underneath your calf muscle for a little bit of support also and come into the forward stretch. Another nice thing that you can use is your strap. So you can start with the strap on the ball mounts of your feet once again, and then start to lean forward on the sit bones as you start to take yourself into this forward fold. Now, if you need to, you can bend your knees and do it this way as well. So lots of options here to get to your forward fold. Do what feels good. You can even grab a hold of your toes and relax here. Breathe into the back of your body, backs of your shoulder, back of your neck. Slowly release tension from your legs, from your upper body. Deep breaths in and out. Do what feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up to sitting. Engage your legs and feel the relationship between your legs and your torso as you sit here. Take a couple of deep breaths. If this is too intense, it looks like a nothing posture. And sometimes if your legs or hips are tight, this will pull and not feel good. So you would bend the knees a little bit until you felt a little bit more comfortable, and then start to straighten them if you can. If not, then that's an indication you need a little bit more opening, probably in your hips and the legs. Feeling that relationship between the legs and your torso. Now that we've stretched out, we're going to come to a relaxation pose called savasana. It's a great one to do at the end of the day, or when you're feeling really stressed out. You can take a break during the day. I highly recommend a little support under your knees for sure, because when you're lying flat, it can hurt your back. And then also a little support for the back of your head, maybe with a small towel or pillow. If you notice your chin's all the way up pointing to the ceiling, definitely some support under the head, because you want the chin down. You don't want the chin all the way up. You want the chin down. It's the most relaxed position of the body. Some support under your knees is always helpful. Now, I'll be a blanket or something, a sheet on top of you always feels nice. An eye pillow over your eyes also feels nice for Shavasana. Now, I'll talk you through Shavasana, so I'm going to sit as I talk you through Shavasana. And you're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you need to. I will guide you out of it, but feel free to stay longer, if you need it. Some people fall asleep. That's pretty natural. But it's a great way to relax your whole system and to incorporate, some of the movements, the stretching that we did today. So find your comfortability in preparing for Shavasana. Maybe bring your hands onto the belly again and onto the chest again to find that your breathing, your deep breath. That will naturally bring you into a deep relaxation. Filling that vessel with breath. Taking some deep breaths in and out as we ease our way into this Shavasana. This Shavasana means deep rest. It's important to come into deep rest. It's not a sleep, although you can fall asleep, because this is where the body will heal and restore itself. It's imperative to do this, especially if your day is really packed with stress and anxiety, overload. You want to bring it down. Now, with this excessive heat, this is a great time to bring down the heat in our bodies. So as you continue to rest your head and rest your shoulders, rest your legs into the floor, into Mother Earth, let her hold you here. She's here to hold you. We live between earth and sky, and the earth is here to hold you. Continuing with those deep breaths, Lengthen the exhalations with as little effort as possible. Let the exhalations continue to release the kidney area to the floor and the belly towards the inside of the sacrum. Let the exhalations become full enough that the inhalations feel almost like a reflex response to the exhalations. Release the skin of the neck, the root of the tongue, and the root of the jaw towards your collarbones. As you do this, you may also feel the ear canals broaden and deepen. You may then begin to feel that the ear canals deepen so much that they join the feeling of void, creating by the release of your throat. Deepen this experience of void by relaxing the soft palate towards the top of your head. Let the eyes and the brain sink back into this void. Progressively relinquish all involvement with the physical body, your thoughts, and your emotions. Eventually, the only experience of self remaining will be the subtlest thread of your breath. Another way of saying this might be let every part of your body sink below the floor except your heart. Let the heart float as the passive breath breathes you, and take your heart into a vast field and just let it breathe. As you rest here for a few minutes in this posture of savasana. And you can stay here as long as you need to. I will let you rest. Whenever you're ready to come out, however you do it slowly. You'll come back to seated posture when you're ready and end your practice.